Hello, everyone, and welcome to another LinkedIn Live. My name is John Fokker, Head of Threat Intelligence at Trellix, and today I'm joined by Jambul. Jambul is one of our brilliant researchers. Jambul, happy to have you on board.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, John.
Great. Today we're going to talk a little bit about LockBit. Today we also published, or recently we also published a blog covering the aftermath of LockBit. So things that happened, and a lot has happened in the first couple of months of this year. One of the most noteworthy things was Operation Kronos, by a joint operation led by the NCA, the National Crime Agency of the UK, together with many international partners from Europol, the FBI. They disrupted the LockBit operation. And LockBit, if you've been reading our reports, was one of the most prolific ransomware gangs out there. They were the ones that were leaking the most personal information, making a lot of headline victims, and were pretty nefarious. And I think during the Operation Kronos, the police actually gave the criminals a taste of their own medicine, actually, in a very, very elegant way. They disrupted the network. When you saw it, and you can check it out in the news, there's a couple of news flashes on this as well. I think they had a splash screen like they had normally, but there was another thing that they did. And Jambul, you were paying close attention to this, right? When it happened, I did think they did something with the leak site themselves.
Yeah. So it was very interesting. The leak site had exactly the same design, and instead of having the victim data, you had different sections related to LockBit, related to different operations, upcoming blogs, and even some interesting revelation of LockBit submoniker. So indeed, we've been monitoring it day by day, hour by hour, trying to see if we will see something new. Yeah, it was quite interesting.
Yeah, it was worthy of having a bag of popcorn and just watching. And I caught myself refreshing the page as well. And we were talking about this in the team, like, oh, what's going on? What's happening? What's happening? And we jokingly said that everybody, Lockbit, by the way, was made very famous because one of the things they did, they had a competition where if you placed or if you got a tattoo of their logo, they would pay you out in Bitcoin. So we were joking that everybody who got a tattoo is now running to the tattoo removal shops because the cops are chasing them down and all these things. But that took place in around February, and it's interesting to see because you would think like, okay, maybe things went quiet, maybe things went different, and it's right at this time that we kind of looked at, okay, what happened? Is there a status quo? What happened? So we're taking a look, and the latest blog, we're looking at the aftermath. We're looking at, okay, what's happened now? So Jumbo, if we look at the aftermath, what are some of the things? Some of the things you've written is around imposters. So what could you highlight about that? What are some of the noteworthy things that you saw there?
Yeah, so we've seen that LockBit, after 4 or 5 days, managed to partially restore its infrastructure and acted as if a law enforcement dismantling action actually didn't affect their operation. So we've seen this resurgence of LockBit, but at the same time, we could actually see that um, other threat actors' activities who were either leveraging the leaked LockBit code, uh, and then trying to establish their own ransomware programs around it were there, and or there were some imposters who were pretending to be LockBit, and they were trying to leverage the established brand of LockBit in order to quickly reap profit and get financial uh, um, uh, gain financial profit.
So that was, and correct me if I'm wrong, they were mostly using the leaked LockBit Black builder, right? There were different versions of LockBit, and in this case, we saw the imposters as well as the other groups leveraging the
Yeah.
builder. It was all LockBit Black, correct?
Yeah, exactly. It was based on the LockBit Black, which was leaked by disgruntled affiliate in 2022. And usually, to join LockBit's affiliate program, you have to meet stringent requirements. And here, having the leaked builder, threat actors could actually just use the ransomware and lock organizations, smaller enterprises, and get the money. And they would pretend that they are actually LockBit themselves. So it was very easy for them to enter the scene in that way. But there were also some competitors of LockBit who decided to leverage the leaked LockBit Black in order to discredit LockBit, in order to tarnish his reputation. And we've seen a few cases. One of them is actually the example is a Russian organization who was hacked by LockBit, and it turned out that the competitors of LockBit tried to discredit him by violating the affiliate rules. But at the end, LockBit actually themselves refuted those allegations and even helped the Russian organization with the incident response and restoring their infrastructure.
That's very interesting what you say here, because it's like, but looking at LockBit's reaction, he's always pretty verbal, and he's pretty outspoken when it comes to things. So in the past, we've seen something that he denies attacks, but it seems quite convenient for him that there's imposters using his name to conduct attacks, and then because it comes quite convenient because it looks like there's still an operation ongoing. In the past, he would deny that, but now it serves him well, it seems. But it's an interesting thing. What if we turn a little bit to LockBit in particular? What are some of the interesting things that you saw? Because he tries to remain relevant, but how did he try to achieve that?
You mean after the Operation Cronus?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
So
yes.
after the Operation Cronus, we seen that LockBit on he restored partially his infrastructure and started uploading some old or potentially fake data or victim organizations data to show that actually law enforcement action didn't really impact their businesses, everything running smooth. But it became clear that something is wrong because those data over the time started disappearing from the leak site, meaning that potentially he just populated his leak site with some fake or bogus data, and one by one later started removing it.
That's a very interesting find. I think we observed also some data that was actually from previous victims, or that was from victims that have settled on their data, and they still had that data available and leaked it. And that shows you that, and that's a note to everybody here. It's like never trust a criminal with their word, especially about erasing their data, because you can see he's in a tight spot. He's trying to save face. He's trying to remain relevant. And if he has that data laying around, it's real easy for him just to post that data. But it will cause a lot of problems for those victims. It's a very interesting thing to see because obviously law enforcement and the private sector and everybody's trying to crumble that empire. And that's a multi-million dollar empire, just to be clear. They make hundreds of millions of dollars with their evil deeds. And as outspoken as LockBit Sub is, yeah, I don't I would expect it's no surprise, let me put it that way. And I don't think like you weren't surprised either that he's trying to remain relevant, right?
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, well, we've seen other changes as well. That now he kicked out some of the affiliates from the affiliate program, because he said, well, you have to deposit 1 or 2 bitcoins in order to show that I can trust you, that you're reputable enough. Or alternatively, you have to earn me 5 bitcoins within a month. in order to join the program. So that was quite interesting, which also created a wave of complaints on Darknet by affiliates saying that they couldn't negotiate with some of the victims just because they didn't have access anymore to the affiliate panel.
Okay, gotcha. Well, this has been super interesting, Jambo, and I would advise everyone to read the blog. It is clear that revenge is definitely a dish served cold, best served cold. When I look at LockBit and all the things that are happening, like there's a couple of things that come to mind. The most obvious thing is it sounds like it's easier to restore a server than it is to maintain or rebuild your trust. The his reputation is definitely damaged. I think prior to Operation Kronos, he was already banned from a couple of forums for some disputes, so we could see some cracks in the armor. And now it's another nail at his coffin. And about those affiliates, it's still unknown, I believe, what law enforcement knows in detail about these affiliates. But yeah, we assume the worst. If they could take over the whole league site, they have pretty much a lot of their infrastructure. So if you were a cyber criminal and you would run and just hypothetically speaking, Jambo, I'm not suggesting anything here, but if you would run a cyber criminal enterprise, like a ransomware enterprise, would you would you allow review from one of those LockBit people, or would you think like, no, they're marked persons. There's too much risk there to my own operation.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, if I would know for sure that this affiliate worked before with LockBit, having that law enforcement seize their infrastructure servers and potentially have some information about the affiliates, I would probably not gonna take that risk. I would probably think twice before doing that, before allowing an affiliate to join my program. Um, because you don't want, of course, that the program that you're establishing, which is not easy, being followed up or taken down by law enforcement just because they've managed to connect the dots and via an affiliate get into your ransomware program.
Exactly. Yeah, and you don't even know if it's a real affiliate or it's actually an undercover agent, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think we come to the end of our LinkedIn Live, and like I said, it's very interesting stuff. We have a first blog around the aftermath. Check it out. This is stuff that we still keep an eye out on. We're still following LockBit every single day, and like we said, it's easier to restore one server than it is to rebuild trust. Yumble, thank you so much for joining us today, and it was a real pleasure. And I look forward to your next insights from the underground. And thanks, everyone, and see you next time.